I've come from a pretty big military family.
Okay.
So it was pretty much guaranteed for me personally that I would join the military. After I joined, my parent community in the military was I'm a tactical, or rather a cryptologic linguist, starting out just cryptology. I was a translator, and I worked at the NSA, and I sat at a desk. That did not work for me. It was like Office Space. I was around the time that Office Space came out, and that movie really resonated with me because that I was living a military version of the Office Space. So I decided that I was going to get out of the Navy and go home back to Arlington, Texas, and be a cop. But I got a DUI right before I was supposed to get out, and so I couldn't go do that job. The police would not hire me. Well, I guess I was like, okay, I guess I'll stay in. And then what am I going to do if I stay in and not jump out a window? So I heard about this program where linguists and cryptologists support the SEAL teams on the ground with platoons, like operating with them. And so I went to selection for that program. The rest is history from there. So that's why I went into special operations, because I was just losing my mind sitting at a desk. I was not cut out for sitting at a desk for 8 hours a day, just with headphones on. So I decided to do that, except with the SEAL teams. So
So
yeah.
what made you go into that in the first place? Like, did you know that you were going to be sitting at a desk? Like, what made you pick
Hmm.
cryptology?
I'm not totally sure. Learning a language seemed really cool to me. It was part of my plan for going back home and being a cop. I joined specifically to try to get Vietnamese as my language, but I missed that school by 2 weeks, so they had me choose another one. And they're like, it can either be Korean or Chinese or Arabic, and I chose Arabic because I knew that there would be a lot of work with that very soon. So, and I was not wrong. So that's why I think I chose language, because it's interesting for me to know, to have a puzzle, and the puzzle being a foreign language, and then all of a sudden to be able to know it, to hear it, to understand it. And I really enjoyed that process of suddenly what was once gibberish is now completely understandable. So I love that aspect of puzzles and problem solving, when all of a sudden the knowledge is bestowed upon you, and it feels good to do that. So a lot of what I did was in a pursuit of what feels good, and knowledge feels good to me. So knowledge felt good, not working behind a desk felt good, moving my body feels good. Like, a lot of my decisions were based around that, and also finding value and purpose and meaning coming from a military family.
So when you went the special ops route, what was that like for you? Because it sounds like there was no plan B. The plan B was going to be back to where you were, which, was not what you wanted. So how was that route for you? How did you get in? What was the training like?
The good thing about the whole process is that the expectations are laid out ahead of time. There's not a lot of guesswork when it comes to what's expected, as opposed to saying pursuing an entrepreneurial lifestyle. It's like, here are the standards and you must meet these standards, and they're hard standards. So it's, in that sense, preparing for it, what for me was not difficult, because I was handed a manual on here are the standards that you're expected to meet, and then it's up to you to prepare for that and to meet those standards. So at the time I joined this program, they sent us through the same school that the special boat operators go through, SWCC school, Special Warfare Combatant Craft Crew Members. I went through that school in Coronado, the same Buds compound as everyone else. And to do that, I prepared for about 6 months, worked out twice a day. I took it really seriously. I wasn't gonna fail. Like, there's
How
just,
old were you during this time?
I was 28,
Okay.
27,
And
28.
then what's the turn? What was it? Was there a high turnover rate in terms of, you said it's high standards, high program. How long is the program?
At that time, it was the school was 3 months long.
Okay. And
Yeah,
then what's the turnover?
if I remember correctly, in my class, we lost around 60 to 75, 60 or 75% of the class